a lead generation system. And for a lot of people I've seen, especially in my market, who tried to emulate or do things like this before I even thought about it, it was a lead generation system for them first and foremost, and secondly, they wanted to have this element of professionalism. So right away, I started doing research. Joe Rogan, Oprah Winfrey, like I went straight to the top and looking at like what are they doing that makes it seem so honest and true and not a show, and within my financial means, how can I make that happen? So like right from the gate, we were using 3 cameras. Right from the gate, we were using high quality microphones and makeup, and easels. Like, I would notice that a lot of people, when they were doing their interviews, they would have these talking cards, and they're staring at the card as they're reading the person's introduction or whatever it is. And so I would watch Oprah and I would watch Joe Rogan and I watched other people who weren't doing that. And then it hit me. These guys are using a teleprompter. And because I couldn't afford a teleprompter on top of the whole staff, the makeup staff, the camera staff that I was paying for, I would actually write out people's introductions on an easel the night before. And then I'd put it like right next to a camera. So every time I glance and look at the or look in that direction, you would assume I'm looking at the camera, but I'm actually looking at the notes. And so just small things like that gave me an edge.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that I tried that, and I was doing everything on my own. I had all my own cameras set up, my own microphones. It was just me, and I went live, and I pushed the teleprompter, and it was sped up so fast that I could not read the thing. And you live and you learn, right? But so you actually did. So did you have the idea to start your video marketing company after the show is gaining traction, or was that before you started the show?
Doing video marketing, doing video in general was never even an idea. I never thought. So what's kind of interesting is that I've always fancied myself as an artist more than I would say a business person, but I had no experience being on video or any knowledge of video whatsoever. It wasn't until I started traveling with the show The Moment, and I think the first place we traveled to was Manhattan to interview Anthony Lawley.
I remember that big episode.
Yeah. And thank you. And then after the interview, he said, "Hey, do you want to go for a ride and kind of continue this discussion? And then maybe your camera guy can roll with us, and I'll take you around Central Park." So I said, "Sure." And of course, this guy pulls up in a brand new Rolls Royce. So I'm like, "Okay, this is awesome. Let's do this." So we keep the camera rolling, and then I had this idea. I said, "We should do like a highlight video, like a highlight film of this whole experience." And it was so much fun capturing these cool shots, and Anthony loved it. And we're like, jumping out of the Rolls Royce all slow and walking and pointing at buildings, acting like we're talking, but we're really not.
Well, it's New York, right?
Yeah, it's New York.
Yeah,
and we're
man.
doing all this stuff. And it ended up being a lot of fun, number one. And number two, turned out to be an amazing video. And it was so cool to see myself like that on video. And so everywhere we went, Beverly Hills, San Diego, Santa Monica, other places to interview interesting people, I would do a highlight video. And again, I was not cognitive of how I was influencing people or the perception that I was putting out there. And so what began to happen is that people started to reach out to me, builders, brokers, mortgage lenders, and say, "Hey, can I pay you to help me with my marketing?" Right. And I was like, "Well, it's not necessarily what I do." And then we started to get a lot of requests for that. And so I just decided, by this time, actually, I quit my mortgage job. It's starting to work. I'm starting to get a lot of business. Yeah. But I know that it's not necessarily where I want to take my life. And there's something happening here with real estate social. And it just sort of morphed into a video marketing company.
That's right. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to basically talk about how The Moment launched your next venture, and we'll talk about that right when we come back.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Okay, and we're back. Thanks, Jeremy. We really appreciate you having on the show today. We were talking about the professionalism and how you weren't necessarily thinking about, starting the video marketing company, but putting yourself out there on a professional and weekly, daily, monthly basis, it was starting to attract people, and which led you to your next venture. And maybe you want to talk about that. Fearless,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And so being a motivational speaker, being a inspiration, really helping people tap into, getting beyond just surviving and really thinking about what is the ideal I want to live with my life, and realizing that no matter what happens to you in this lifetime, you can come back from that and actually come back stronger and be a better person. And so throughout that whole process, the moment, I just fell in love with the whole process. I fell in love with working with people and really allowing people to tell their story, giving people a platform for that. And then I decided to turn the weekly show, The Moment, into a live show in which we rented out the ACT Theater in downtown Seattle last year, and we had about 350 folks come out.
Wow.
I think 6 or 7 speakers that we flew in from all over the country. It was a really cool event. It was really a dream come true. At times I thought I was biting off too much. It was a really expensive event to put on. We were charging like $250 to $1,000 per seat. A lot of people thought I was crazy, but I was like, this is a show for people in real estate. And I was calling it edutainment. And we just had so many people say it was one of the best real estate events they've ever been to, if not the best one. And that was my first time ever doing anything like that.
Right.
Great time with that. And so a buddy of mine reached out to me, 8-figure guy, private plane, Rolls Royces, really, really just living an incredible lifestyle that I have yet to meet anyone at that level yet. Called me and said, hey, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing for your brand, but I really think you should consider doing masterminds. And at this point, I had some limited experience with masterminds. I've been to one with Brian Moran, the CEO of the 12-Week Year. That was a really famous book, New York Times bestseller, all that good stuff. So I went to his mastermind. That was pretty cool, but that was more of a workshop. But Mark invited me to his mastermind in Malibu, literally this time last year. And it was exceptional. It was just 16 guys in a room talking about fear, talking about the obstacles that they want to overcome. Yeah. And for some of the obstacles were small, some of them were big. But the biggest piece of it is it was just 16 guys being vulnerable and being open. And keep in mind, everyone in that room except me was a multimillionaire.
Right.
And so it was just so cool to be in this situation. Like, wow, these guys are really opening up. And the other people in the room are taking this person's needs and wants incredibly seriously. And I'm watching like mountains be moved right in front of me. And I said, This is it. This is what I want to be doing. And so over the last year or so, I've been trying to scale back my video production business to create this thing, which is Fearless Masterminds. And so the goal is to put on this extravagant, incredible 3-day intensive real estate focused mastermind every quarter in the US, but also outside the country for individuals who are looking for that big push. Guys like you, for instance, who, you're looking to launch this show. And I love the production quality, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
Blindside me here. This is awesome. But people who have some success, and they're looking to take their life to that next level. And I'm realizing that the biggest improvements I've had, the biggest breakthroughs I've had, came from strangers or people that I barely knew. And there was an element of collective intelligence, meaning I gave them enough information for them to know what I'm looking for. And because they're not emotionally tied to the outcome, they can ask me questions and push me in certain ways that maybe my spouse or my business partner could not, because we know each other too well. Right. And then you get breakthroughs. You get little profound breakthroughs like, this is a shorter path. And so for me, what I would do if I had unlimited funds, what I would do is I would find ways to speak on bigger stages and find ways that I can use my connections to help people get from where they are right now to where they want to be as fast as humanly possible. And the best thing I've come up with so far is these 3-day intensive masterminds.
Right.
So the first one's going down in San Diego, June 7th, 8th, and 9th. I actually turned 35 on June 8th.
Wow.
We, always use a really upscale, gorgeous venue. So we're staying at the Hyatt Hotel, in which we have an incredible venue on the inside, but we also have the rooftop as well with the pool, cabana, rooftop bar, all that good stuff. Doing amazing activities first thing in the morning to sort of break that ice. Most of these people have never met before, and a lot of them are from around the country, right? So I want to create these bonds and make sure that there's not
Jeremy, sorry to cut you off. Can you hear me? Yeah, we're lost your audio somehow here. Yeah, we're gonna cut to commercial real quick, and we're gonna try to figure out the audio. Sorry about that, Jared.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family. At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family. At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family. At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family. At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family. At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Okay, sorry guys, we're having some audio difficulties, so we're going to try to have Jeramy log out and back in. He's going to keep me informed on Facebook here. Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about fear and overcoming fear. I think, for Jeramy to, put himself out there and start, interviewing people and then going from there and starting masterminds and real estate events. I mean, like, not only is that a huge financial feat, but it's a really tough market to jump into and start making a successful franchise out of it. And the fact that he's moving from live talk shows right into, executive style masterminds is crazy. I'm just going to check in with Jeramy here and just see if he's logged back in and see what's going on. You're in?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, he's back on. Thanks, man. Sorry, I apologize about that, but we do have you back, and let's try to pick up, or let's go in this kind of direction. I mean, we're here talking about overcoming fears, and like I don't know if you heard me into the conversation I was just having with myself. Apparently, obviously moving from the video marketing space into the event space, into the mastermind space, that's not something any average entrepreneur is ready to take on. And I'm sure you had to deal a lot with overcoming your fears, especially if you're going to be hosting events that is based around others overcoming their fears, right? So maybe you can kind of dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was a huge fear for me, and still is. You were mentioning a little bit about the financial piece of it as well.
Yeah.
It's one thing to sort of put yourself out there, but there's a whole nother piece of it, which is the financial piece, is that to put something on like this, it's going to be $30,000+, and so you have quite a few seats that you need to fill before you even break even. And so the question I had to ask myself is, how bad do I want to do this, and what else would I be doing, and would I be only doing that other thing because I was afraid? And what am I really afraid of? Am I afraid that I'm not going to work hard enough? Am I afraid that I can't get it done? Do I think that I'm not worth the price that I'm asking? Yeah. And once I started asking myself some really hard questions, I reached the conclusion that I'm willing to die. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get me to where I want to be, to where I wake up and say, yes, damn it. Yes, again, I get to wake up and be Jeramy Poole, or this person or that person. And that's what I'm all about. Like, that's what I want to help other people do as well. And while I'm moving in that direction. And so, for me, it's just so important that I don't allow fear to stop me from doing what I want to do, from what my heart calls me to do. And sometimes my heart calls me to do some crazy stuff, like launching a show, like doing a live version of a show at an entire theater, or, things that may not make any sense to anyone else. Mm-hmm. But if your heart calls you to do it, and I tell you, my biggest fear is really, really simple, is that one day I'm going to die. And I believe that before that time comes, I'm going to be pretty aware, right? Hopefully I'm old and I've done some cool stuff. And I don't want to look back and say, I could have been great. I could have done this thing. I could have went skydiving. I could have launched this app, right, that somebody else launched and became a billionaire. Whatever it is, I just don't want to let fear stop me. Now, fearless doesn't mean that I'm literally lacking fear. It just means that I don't allow it to stop me from doing the thing that I really, really want to do, right? As much as it used to. Right. Every day I wake up and I still feel fear. But I ask myself, and I break it down. Do I want to do it? Do I think I can do it? Why am I really afraid? And, I quickly realize that it's not logical to be feeling fear, right? It's not
Right.
logical to worried about whether or not you should call somebody. It's uncomfortable. Maybe perhaps
Hmm.
you'd rather not, because now there's risk, right? You're putting yourself out there. It's risky to ask for the business, but that's where all the good stuff comes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, man, like it's one of those things where I'm a true believer in that almost, or maybe not almost, but everybody has that potential. But we allow, and we so quickly, that's what I'm amazed about. We so quickly allow fear to overcome and squash our dreams, which I don't understand, because dreams are so powerful. It's what usually keeps most of us in the jobs or in the line of duty that we're into. And I think that so many people, if they just allowed themselves to overcome even just a little bit of their fears every inch, every day, and just take it slowly, I think our potential is unmatched. Now, so when you're hosting these masterminds, what kind of, maybe you can explain to me kind of almost like your agenda about how you're helping people overcome these fears?
Right, absolutely. So the biggest fear that I have and had in the past is I want to go from here to there. I'm on Earth and I want to land this rocket that it isn't even built yet, and I have no experience flying a rocket, but yet my goal is to land it on the moon. And realizing that probably the fastest way for me to get from Earth to the moon is with the help of other talented, smart, capable, hardworking people.
Mm-hmm.
And if I knew that I had like an executive board that was just there for me and that I had confidence in 24/7, I would reach for the law. I would reach for world peace or curing cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so how we're helping people is giving you the ability to leverage collective intelligence, giving you the ability to stand in front of the group and say, "Hi, my name is Jeramy Poole. You have an opportunity to do a 10-minute PowerPoint presentation, literally laying out, here's who I've been, here's what I've been able to do up to this point, here's where I am now." Again, this is not to brag. This is just to set the stage so the people in the audience, the people in your board meeting, are aware of who you are and what your experience level is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the most important piece, what I'm charging you guys with the next hour is to help me craft and crystallize the best strategy from getting me from where I am to where I want to be. And that place I want to be for me, and I'll be doing a board meeting as well, is I want to host the sexiest, the most sought after, the most celebrated, world-class masterminds in the space of real estate in the world. That is my goal, and that's why you're here today for me. And then start to break that down and really get naked. I want you to criticize the venue. I want you to criticize my opening. I want you to really strip this thing down as if we have to craft the best strategy together within the next hour to get Jeramy from where he wants to be, from where he is now to where he wants to be. I say that's scary because the mastermind I went to in Malibu, here I am in this room. Everybody in that room is way more financially successful than me. And typically they spend, 15 to 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes with everyone doing what's called the hot seat, in which they ask you a bunch of hard questions. And there's no way of getting out besides telling the truth. You either know the information that you don't. And what you quickly realize when you're in a room with other smart, tough people who've been through some stuff is they're not going to take your BS. They're not going to co-sign for you, and they're going to strip you down. And what you're going to realize is that you're not as smart as you thought you were, or you're not as put together as you may have thought you were, because they're going to start asking you all kinds of questions that you haven't even thought of before. And you're thinking, how is this happening? And you're slowly but surely starting to crumble right in front of these people. Yeah. But then they build you back up, and you realize, hold on now, you're actually smarter than you thought you were. You are more capable than you thought you were. You are now better equipped, and these people are now sort of emotionally invested in you now. Now they're like, okay, Jeremy, if you want to be a public speaker, my buddy is a public speaker. I'm going to connect you with that person. Or you want to take your business from doing X amount of deals to now doing 6 deals. I'm an expert when it comes to scaling businesses. I've scaled 12, 7-figure businesses. Talk to me after the event. Let's get together. I'll spend some time with you. Yeah. But first and foremost, you have to be vulnerable and say, I think I'm pretty strong over here, but guys, I'm weak over here. And when I did that at the mastermind in Malibu, and it took a little bit, because at first I wanted to be defensive. At first I wanted to, protect everything that I've done so far. And I quickly realized this isn't the environment for that. They're not trying to beat me down for the sake of beating me down. They're trying to take off all the weight, all the fat, and just get to the core of who Jeramy is and why, and why he's that way, and how can we help mold him to get to where he really wants to be. Yeah. And then I sort of surrendered and started answering the questions as raw and as naked as I possibly could. And together we reached a conclusion that I never even thought of, which, Jeramy, I think you are primed to be hosting world-class masterminds. Right.
And I love kind of what you said, because I think fear is all in our heads, right? It's different. It's subjective to each person. And I find that one of the biggest fears, maybe that I have, maybe that most people have, is almost being honest with yourself. And I think the reason why you do that activity at these masterminds is because first you have to break down everything that you think you believe about yourself. And whether it's BS, maybe it's just an honest lack of true perception of yourself, or maybe it's the way you perceive others and how you can relate to them. I think first you need to get naked. You need to be honest with yourself, and you need to stop telling yourself these BS, reasons as why you are successful, why you aren't successful, or what's holding you back. And once you become honest with yourself, you can then start to, rebuild and grow into that person that you want to be, right?
Absolutely. You're dead on, man. That's absolutely the key, is that we have all these mental constructs in our mind that we built and we see as reality, but other people don't necessarily see it that way. And when you start to vocalize and really, sort of develop who you think you are in front of these people, they can help you sort of understand that you're actually a way better person than you think you are. You're way more capable. You're way more intelligent. You can do way more than you currently think that you can. And this particular mastermind came from, first and foremost, that experience at Malibu. But then from that, I was talking to a particular friend probably 4 or 5 times over lunches, over the phone, and just saying, man, I would love to not be so busy on the video production side. Yeah. I'm happy with how busy I am because I, love making money. But on the other side of it, I'm just so busy building other people's dreams. I wish I had more time to build my dream, which is a mastermind. And eventually we got onto one of these conversations. We're on the phone for like an hour. And he was just like, so why don't you do it? And I was like, well, I mean, the average price tag for something like this is about $5,000. He was like, yeah, that's about right. I've been to a bunch of these things. I was like, yeah, but I don't know if people will want to pay $5,000 to come to my events. I've done small events where it's $100 or a few $100 or, most I've ever sold
you never walk away with anything, though, right? With those $100 shows, it's usually just some, celebrity maybe shows up for a 5 to 10 minute talk, and then you're kind of left with, not necessarily folks who aren't experts in their field, but they don't have that ability to truly motivate you into being something that you want to be. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to talk to you about something where you brought it up today early on the show about being willing to die for something in the name of being a better person and living the life that you want. So let's go to commercial, and we'll talk about that afterwards.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Okay, and we're back. Thank you guys for continuing to tune in with me and my good buddy Jeremy. You know what? So, like I mentioned before, earlier in the show, you were talking about, the willingness to put your life on the line for your dreams. So it's okay if you have a job that you're working at that isn't necessarily the one that you want, but you have this passion, have this habit for something else, and you want it bad enough that you can find those extra hours in the day to focus on what you really want. And if you're using the excuse of, I don't have time, obviously this dream isn't what you were meant to be doing. And obviously you weren't willing to die for that dream. So I just heard on the way here, this gentleman who's, I believe he's from California. He's a high up lawyer, and he's one of those. He was 62 years old. He he's climbed all the 7 highest peaks, and his last one that he wanted to do is Mount Everest, right? And so he spent months and months training for this excursion. And just last night, his family confirmed that he did pass away on the descent. But competitors, highly driven individuals, and people who want something so bad enough that they are literally willing to put their life on the line. And I think one of the reasons why that is so important is because you're never going to live that life that you want if you do not put yourself out there. Financial fears, the fear of judgment, the fear of, feeling uncomfortable. Those should be drivers. Those should be issues that are seriously motivating you to accomplish your dreams. Now, Jeremy, I don't know if you have heard that story, but I mean, he was a huge competitor, obviously. And how do you think that being one of those truly remarkable competitors, kind of push you into the right direction? And how do you think that it's an important factor in, really accomplishing your dreams?
It's huge. It's, if you want to do anything extraordinary, I think that has to be your mindset. Because for me, it goes back to it being a must, right? Like when we're kids, we are willing to fail. Right, you're going to try and walk until you learn how to walk. You're going to try and talk until you're going to try to ride that bike until. And I think as we get older, we somehow associate failure with like actually failing, versus not realizing that every big success, every big evolution, every big quantum leap you've ever had in your life came from this really tough, difficult process of trying things and failing. And so I think that you living this perfect life in which you don't fail means that you're not trying anything. You're not swinging for the fences, and it's so important, I think, to fall in love with a version of yourself. Yeah. Thinking about who you really want to be and absolutely fall in love with it. Because if you're not in love with it, you're not going to be crazy enough to keep pushing forward. Just like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or, the guy who's climbing the mountain. Anybody who's ever done anything, I feel like the universe tests you, right? Yeah. He's gonna put certain obstacles in front of you to see just how bad you want it. And if you're not willing to go that additional 10, 20%, then you're ruined. And so that's why I think it's absolutely imperative that you love it, that you first and foremost have this dream. and that you're willing to die for it, because that's when you're really going to get that huge return where the work you put in doesn't really match up with your results. But at any point in time, you could have listened to your families or your spouses or your friends' advice and say, just give it up. Like, just stop doing it,
Yeah. And man, it's crazy, because I know even with myself how many things that I, even right from the very beginning, not asking out that girl, not having the ability to quit that job, not having the willingness or the drive to continuously push yourself. Even that, I know you said 10-20%, but even pushing yourself that one extra inch every day, that one extra set at the gym, it's just those small incremental steps or those small incremental, just little small boosts of energy to help on a more long-term goal. So we do have a couple of minutes left. Jeramy, I wanted to just kind of check in with you. How can somebody like me or anybody out there who's watching get involved with one of your masterminds?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the plug. Go to fearlessmasterminds.com, and that's Fearless Masterminds plural .com, and we have a whole website just for that specific website. That website is just for this one event here in San Diego. We're going to be making some revisions to that website to make it more of a website just for the events in general, and then you'll start seeing probably 2 or 3 events at a time that are going to be coming up. Like, we're looking at Vegas, we're looking at Miami, we're looking at Barcelona. So it's going to be a incredible ride. But here's the vision I have for this. Imagine as a ambitious, driven business person, you're constantly go, go, go. You're in whatever environment that you're in, Canada, US, Africa, doesn't matter. You are limited to the people that you have around you. And those experiences that you have with those people are so absolutely key to your own personal development and your own willingness to get naked and drive forward. And for me, I really want to put myself consistently around people who are more accomplished, consistently around people who are brave and driven. And so if I can plug into this thing called Fearless Masterminds and go to this over-the-top event with some people I know, some people I don't know, every quarter, and I'm in this new environment. And yes, there's limos and there's super awesome stuff, and we get dressed up and go out to dinner. But this is more so about getting a quantum leap, figuring out, okay, I've accomplished this last quarter. Next quarter, I want to go even bigger. Next quarter, I want to do this. And I'm pretty sure I have this element figured out, but I'm weak over here, guys. How can you help me? And just see where life takes you. And for me, that would be an incredible journey. And I remember, honestly, a lot of this goes back to when I was 18. I was on my knees crying to God and saying, more than anything else, I want an extraordinary life. I want money. I want success. I want all those things. But the most important thing I want an incredible journey. And I think by plugging into events like this, by making sure I can, by hosting them, that will ensure that I'm going to live a life where it's not normal. It's not average, right? Yeah. It's constantly in this fast lane.
Right. So what kind of piece of advice would you give to people who are, looking to make that investment in themselves, but how do they take the most away from an event like this? Obviously, number one fear is people, talking and opening up to other people. So what do you think, how can we take the most away from events like this?
First thing to do is get really clear on where you want to take your life long term.
Yeah, right.
Like, just if you can do anything, if money was not the issue, where would you go? And how would you go about getting there? And then work with your spouse, work with your business partner a little bit beforehand to come up with a really simple plan, something simple that you can present to the group and say, here's our current strategy. And then be fearless in your willingness to get that plan broken and just thrown away and just see what the audience, what the group can help you craft that may be able to get you there with more velocity and speed than what you've come up with by yourself. And I've been through this process a couple of times now by going to other people's events and realizing that is so key, because what you came up with is based on your intelligence, your own experiences. And what you might find is when you have a group of 10, 15, 20 people who are also very smart, very accomplished, they may come up with something that's way better and simpler, right? Yeah. And simpler than what you have created. And then plugging in and being willing and as willing to help other people with their plans as well.
Right. Okay, that was awesome. All right, man. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. Just before we go, it's that time of the episode where, plug, man, where can we find you?
Yes, go to, so first and foremost, you can check me out on YouTube at Real Estate Social. You'll see a bunch of different videos and a bunch of different things that I've done, whether it's Fearless or The Moment, various different episodes. You can go to my personal Facebook. You'll see a lot of cool stuff. Jeramy Poole. Then obviously go to fearlessmasterminds.com. If you're interested in the event, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, or you can send me an email at jeramy@realestatesocial.com. And all of you can give me my number, 253-761-6849. Right on, brother. I super appreciate this opportunity. I love the show dynamic. I love the production quality. Look forward to maybe being on sometime in the future.
Absolutely, man. Take care. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next week.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.